The first public witness to the Miami Mall incident, where the alien attack or the alien incident or whatever the heck happened in Miami a few months ago, well, he has returned. We've got that and a lot more to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, let's just get right into it. This is from Laney and Ben. They interviewed this gentleman who was notorious for first putting up the first information about the Miami Mall incident as a witness to this crazy event. And then a few days later to recant the whole thing and to say, just kidding, I was just trolling. Well, now he's saying he just couldn't take the pressure and he felt the need to do that just to get some of the pressure off of him. But now he is back saying actually it did happen and that indeed it was otherworldly. Just play a few seconds of what he had to say here.
I said, man, they were like, I don't know how else to explain it, but like these tall shadow things, but like they were solid.
Yeah.
They were like disappearing.
Yeah, there's some music playing over the background and the audio is really bad, so I'm not going to play very much of that. But yeah, you can watch the full video and I'll link to it below on Laney and Ben. But yeah, he is saying this really did happen. There are these, tall, shadowy beings that popped up in the mall and everybody panicked and ran. And then, of course, we know the police descended on the scene and hushed everybody up. And, the story is that they were seizing cell phones and deleting pictures and videos. We've heard that from several different witnesses that were on the scene at the time. The gentleman here says there were no kids playing with fireworks that he saw, and he's not buying that as a reason for that overwhelming police response. And it seems like there were 100, maybe way more than 100 police cars present. And there were 4 arrests for kids supposedly, fighting with fireworks or something like that. But that does not seem to answer why there were that many police cars. It was a crazy situation. Crazy situation, guys. I'm still waiting for the next shoe to drop on that. For example, the body cam footage from the police. It should be FOIA-able by now. So where is that body cam footage? Where is that body cam footage, guys? If you find it before I do, let me know. Meanwhile, Chris Mellon is responding to that SCU report on a historical report of UFOs that I went over a few days ago. But because it's Chris, let me read what he had to say about it. Commendations to the SCU for its latest analysis of U.A.P. patterns in the U.S. The changing pattern of U.A.P. activity is fascinating and raises a number of questions. For example, is the trend away from large, high-flying U.A.P., mostly discs, triangles, and cigar-shaped objects seen during daylight hours, during much smaller U.A.P. seen at night at close range, a reaction to dramatic advances in the power and sophistication of our radars and other air defense capabilities. Incidentally, this report is more informative and credible than the Arrow report. I'll have more to say on the shortcomings of the latest Arrow report soon. All right, well, I can't wait for Chris to tear Sean Kirkpatrick a new one. The lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. But there you go, Chris, saying very favorable things about that report that I went over a few days ago. And it was a very, very good report. Like he says, a lot better than the Arrow report, of course. And I think this is really interesting, posted by the One Geographic Visual of the UFO event timeline. And I'm not going to go over it in any detail, but a lot of people say, well, why are there only UFO sightings in the U.S.? And I often respond with, well, that's not the case at all. It's a global phenomenon. But here you go. Here's some, dots on the globe. It is all over, and of course, South America is a big hotspot. But it's just worldwide, guys. The phenomenon is worldwide, and there you go. Meanwhile, just a reminder that Edward Snowden couldn't find anything. Quote from Edward Snowden: "If we are hiding them, I couldn't find anything. If it's hidden, and it could be hidden, it's hidden really damn well, even from people on the inside." Meanwhile, check this out. Whitley Strieber says this alien interview is real.
Okay, this video is from, I believe this is real. There's a lot of controversy about this on the internet. Is it real or not? And the reason I believe it's real, and I want to point that out, see that little green light flashing up and down? A light like that was flashing up and down on my desk when I was writing communion. And I don't think I ever told anyone about that. So what's it doing in that video if that's a fake? Why would they choose to do that? I think it's there because that being is using it as a communications device, and I think I was being communicated with while I was writing communion. And it would drive me crazy because I'd only see it out of my corner of my eye. When I looked at it, it was gone. And I would be writing, and it would go flip, 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 and I'd put my finger on it, my thumb on it, and I could feel it under my thumb. And it would just slowly ooze out from under my thumb and be gone. Then I'd start typing again, and there it would be again. It drove me nuts. And I thought to myself, if someone is trying to work with me on this, they could choose some other way of doing this.
I love that. That is amazing. The research and the amazing investigations done by Jon Stewart and Nico corroborate this alien interview as legit. This seems to be a captured being recovered from a UFO crash, maybe the Kalahari crash, maybe not. Imprisoned, for lack of a better word, at S2, apparently, not S4, but S2 at Area 51, and interrogated. And tragically, it passed away after this interrogation. It went into distress during this interrogation, and passed away. And, Jon Stewart has gotten a lot of flack for his compelling research into this amazing interview with this being. I think that his research is on the level. I think that Nico has corroborated that. And now we have Whitley Strieber also corroborating the authenticity of this amazing, although sad and tragic, alien interview. But it is truly amazing because if true, this is at the time, a living being that we are looking at, guys. This is very likely an alien. NHI, whatever these beings are. This is very likely a living being that we are looking at. Possibly the first confirmed living being now from 3 sources that this is authentic. And Whitley Strieber knows what an alien looks like. So, for all the people saying, well, it's a prop, it's, a movie person could make this, and that may very well be the case. But again, Whitley Strieber knows what an alien looks like. Meanwhile, check this out. We're getting a new season of Skinwalker Ranch. The secret of Skinwalker Ranch. I couldn't be more jazzed. Brandon Fugel says, it's official. New season launches April 23rd, documenting our investigation at Skinwalker Ranch. With an army of credentialed third-party experts and more resources than ever dedicated to finding the answers, we are excited to unveil our recent activity and findings. Awesome. Bring it, Brandon. Bring it. We were shown kind of the cliffhanger for last season where they were finding some underground structures or tunnels and stuff. I hope they get to go in those underground tunnels. What do you think? I mean, that's probably too good to be true, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe Travis and the team will be exploring an underground alien base on the new season of Skinwalker Ranch. Or hell, maybe they'll go through a portal. We don't know. but we're going to find out soon. Meanwhile, very exciting Michael Herrera news. He's going to be appearing with Lance Corporal Jonathan Wagan, the legendary, in my mind, Jonathan Wagan, on the Martin Willis podcast. Now, I've talked a lot about Jonathan Wagan and his amazing experience, alarming but amazing experience in Peru in the 90s, and the wealth of information that we were able to get out of that, including details of the UFO control group, and that it's a, the part that he was saying was a multinational operation, including China, back in the 90s. This is amazing. I mean, his information is amazing. And, he was sent out to, secure a crash site, not knowing it was a UFO crash site. He got there, and then the goons from the control group showed up. I believe it was the Department of Energy goons, interestingly, and arrested him because he had actually gone in close proximity to the craft. And they threatened him, and they took him back to their base and threatened him. And there's a lot of details about his encounter, and I've talked about that extensively in the past. But as soon as I heard Mike Herrera's story, I thought, well, man, there's so many similarities to the Jonathan Wagan case. Jonathan has not talked publicly very often. He's done like a couple of interviews. After all this time, he's been very private. I totally respect that. But I think his information is very valuable, and I can't wait to see him and Mike Herrera compare notes. Speaking of secrets the UFO control group would prefer to remain secret, Dr. Richard Sauter talks about the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases. He gives a lot of really incredible information, and I'll let you watch the full video at your leisure, of course. It's almost an hour long, or 45 minutes long. But here he is talking about the underground tunnels, I guess specifically the railways that have long been theorized to exist, linking the DUMBs. Do they exist? Do they not exist? Well, he thinks they do.
During my research on underground high-speed elevators, and they do exist, there are elevators that go underground pretty fast, through a somewhat circuitous trail, paper trail, I discovered that way back in the 1930s, in 1938, when the Third Reich was just getting rolling, that there was a German engineer by the name of Hermann Kemper who took out Reich's patents for this. And I have them. I have the old German patents. Back in the 1930s, he was given patents for a supersonic, underground, maglev, tube train shuttle that the Nazis were planning to build way back in the 30s and 40s.
Okay, so there you go. Could the Operation Paperclip Boys have imported this German technology, these maglev trains, these underground trains, and used them to link the DUMBs? Yet another link with the Germans, the World War II Germans, in the UFO control group, theoretically. Meanwhile, check this out. In India, after the level of a river drops, you can see stones carved by man, possible remains of an ancient civilization. What? Look at those knobs. Look at those crazy knobs. Yeah, what's going on there? That's wild. I mean, I'm sure it probably had a totally mundane reason. We're probably not talking about Lemuria or Mu or Atlantis or something like that. But, that's really intriguing. What are those things? What are those crazy knobs? What was there? What was there? Oh, man, just a peek back in time to see that ancient civilization. That would be cool. Meanwhile, an older analysis from Brian Hanley on the Beaver Utah UFO is making the rounds. And this is a few years old, but I love to see this making the rounds because this UFO was really seminal for me in my journey into discovering UFOs. I had seen Lou Elizondo coming out on the news and everything, and those 3 videos started to make me take this more seriously. But then I saw this Beaver Utah UFO, and I was obsessed with this footage. I watched that thing on a loop for hours. I mean, I couldn't get enough analysis of this amazing sighting of this fast-moving object. What is it? Some sort of alien drone? Is it a dragon? What is it? But yeah, here's the analysis showing that it was behind the ridge line, that it was probably moving 9,000 miles an hour.
Further review, he's confident that this is actually a creation vanishing.
Yeah, he goes into a lot of detail, talking about parallax and everything, and it gets pretty in-depth. So if you haven't seen it and you're curious to see this analysis, well, it's making the rounds now. And it was really an important UFO event for me personally, because it wasn't coming from the government. It was just some guys with a drone shooting B-roll who got this amazing object. And it looked so authentic to me, and I was just obsessed by it. And I just devoured all the analyses that were being done on it. And it was really foundational for me and coming to the grips with the UFO reality. So if you're at all curious, give it a shot, because it's gaining new popularity. Oh, and I noticed a lot of skeptics the other day when I posted the video of the UFO crashing into John Bell's truck. And that's fine. Think whatever you want. But I just want to direct your attention to this great video by Preston Dennett, great UFO researcher Preston Dennett, talking about various occasions in which UFOs have collided with human vehicles, from planes, trains, to automobiles. Check this out, guys.
Cub, when he says a brilliantly lit lozenge-shaped object collided with his plane, tearing off the tail.
Yeah, that's not good, guys. You don't want that. These UFOs are not infallible, and they will collide with human vehicles. For a lot more examples of that, check out this full video by Preston Dennett. But getting back to John Bell and why that UFO didn't leave a mark or a dent. Yeah, that's a weird one, because it was solid enough to collide very heavily with that truck. Why didn't it leave a mark? Well, I've got a theory about that, and that's that it was actually the field generated by that orb that was interacting with his truck, not the actual physical object itself. But clearly the field had an impact. At least that's my take, but let me know what you think in the comments below. But keep it cool. Last but not least, Daz Smith, one of my favorite remote viewers from the Future Forecasting Group, and I've been following him since he was with Farsight. He has seen Cosmic Road, and he likes it. Check it out.
And finally, the last video I have here to share with you comes from Cosmic Road. Here it goes on for 26 minutes. This channel puts out content virtually every single day, and it's about paranormal, mystery, and UFO news. This is a general UFO roundup. It's talking about Tim Gallaudet on underwater UFOs. Richard Dolan talks about time-traveling ARVs, and lots more on there. Very interesting stuff. I would probably subscribe to this guy. He puts out regular content, and it's very good, especially if you're into UFOs and mysteries and paranormal, because he does a quick overview of all the latest news 2 or 3 times a week, and it's fantastic.
All right, there you go. Daz says it's fantastic content, and you should probably subscribe. So, let me know what you think about everything covered today, and please let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, and like Daz says, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt. See the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.